The Young and the Restless spoilers. Full update Monday, the 25th of May, 2026. Welcome back to our channel, guys. Today is a beautiful day to dive into some absolute soap opera chaos. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's get right into it because I have a lot of thoughts. And honestly, I am still trying to process the spoilers for this week because we are heading into a brand new week and it is promising to be a very, very interesting one. So we are looking at another missing person situation and multiple relapses across the board, which is just a lot to handle. Let's just start with the biggest elephant in the room right now. Diane Jenkins. Diane is missing, just completely gone. Poof, vanished into thin air. Kyle Abbott is the one who's going to share his massive worries with Jack Abbott because apparently his mother has not shown up to work at Jabbott for 2 whole days. And Kyle even went to check her room, and her bed hasn't even been slept in. It was perfectly made. So where on earth is she? Maybe this is just another fake out, like the writers did with Danny Romolani a while ago when everyone was panicking, but it really feels different this time around. The last time we actually saw Diane on screen, she was walking in and catching Jack and Nikki Newman having a cozy little lunch together. And you guys know exactly how Diane feels about Nikki. It is never good. It is always toxic. After everything Jack has been doing lately, especially with that whole absolute nightmare situation where Diane caught him in bed with Patty Williams on a boat, I mean, what is Jack actually thinking? The man is a walking disaster right now. He is literally manipulating Patty Williams right now to try and get back at Victor, and he expects Diane to just sit there and smile? So maybe Diane just left to get some space. Maybe she just needed to clear her head, get out of the Abbott mansion, and figure out her next move before she completely explodes. But let's be real for a second. This is Diane Jenkins we are talking about here. The fans on social media are already buzzing about this, and a lot of people think she might be reverting back to her old ways. And honestly, I kind of want to see it. Are we going to see the old evil Diane make a massive comeback? Because think about it. She has been trying so hard to be the good wife, the reformed citizen, the perfect Abbott matriarch that Jack always wanted her to be. And what has it gotten her? Absolutely nothing but disrespect from Jack and constant, endless attacks from the Newmans. She probably feels so weak and complacent right now. She probably feels like she is losing absolutely everything she worked so hard to build since she came back from the dead. So why not go back to being the ruthless villain we all love to hate? I mean, let's take a walk down memory lane for a second. This is the woman who literally faked her own death and let everyone in town, including her own son Kyle, believe she was murdered. She let people go to jail for it. She used to go toe-to-toe with Phyllis Summers and Victor Newman and actually hold her own. She was a master manipulator. And now she is just sitting around the Abbott mansion pouring coffee and pretending she doesn't mind that her husband is constantly disrespecting her. It is honestly insulting to her character's history. If she goes dark again, she would have the absolute perfect edge to attack everyone who she feels has wronged her, from Victor and Nikki to even Jack himself. She would have the nerve to just go after them all, no holding back. She knows all of Jack's weaknesses. She knows how much he values his public image and Jabot's reputation. She could absolutely destroy him from the inside out if she wanted to. And okay, maybe I'm being too harsh on Jack, but you get what I mean. He deserves a little payback for the way he has been treating her. I mean, Jack has always had this wandering eye, bouncing between Diane, Nikki, and Phyllis for decades. But manipulating Patty Williams right now, that is a new low, even for him. Of course, that would just be a massive red herring from the writers, because they love to tease us with these villain returns and then have the character just be at a spa somewhere. But it would be such a fun twist to see her burn it all down. And speaking of Nikki Newman, we really need to talk about what is happening with her right now. So Nikki is going to be complaining about these massive, blinding headaches to Victoria Newman, just complaining and complaining, rubbing her temples, looking completely exhausted. And whenever a recovering alcoholic on this show starts complaining about headaches or stress, we all know what the writers are hinting at. A relapse. Could it be nothing? Sure, it could just be a headache. But we really have to wonder if the writers are going to have her fall off the wagon, even just for a brief moment, because of everything going on with Michael Baldwin. Michael is so incredibly stressed out trying to save Phyllis from that AI evidence trap, and all that stress is just bleeding out into everyone's lives. Plus, Nikki is dealing with Victor weighing a $2 million extortion demand from Patty Williams to find Matt Clark. It is just a chaotic environment. But honestly, I am not too worried about Nikki having a full-blown relapse. I just don't see it happening right now. I think it is totally possible that she might have a weak moment. Maybe she listens to Michael vent about Christine getting arrested and Phyllis spiraling, gets totally overwhelmed, and takes a sip of a drink. But I do not think she is going to completely spiral into the bottle. Why? Because of Victor. She is not going to want Victor to win. He is so stubborn, and she knows that if she falls apart, Victor will just use it to control everything even more. He will use her weakness as an excuse to tighten his grip on the family. So she is going to hold her ground out of pure spite, if for no other reason. Spite is a very powerful motivator for Nikki Newman, and we have seen it keep her sober before. But let's not forget how sneaky Nikki can be when she does relapse. Remember the days of her hiding vodka in water bottles? Remember her sneaking drinks at the athletic club when nobody was looking? If she does relapse, she is not going to announce it. She is going to hide it. And with Victoria already so hyper-focused on Nick's issues, Nikki might just slip right under the radar. The fans on social media are literally begging the writers not to put Nikki through this again because it is so exhausting to watch her fight this same battle every few years. But you know how the writers are. They love to recycle trauma. But you know who isn't going to be so lucky? Nick Newman. Oh my God, you guys, Nick is going to fall apart so hard. And it is just tragic to watch. Nick is going to fail miserably in his battle with his addiction. And the really sick part about this is that he is going to fall apart right in front of his family. The exact same family who literally did not care enough to make sure he actually went to rehab and got the treatment he desperately needed. They just let him walk around while he is clearly spiraling from the fentanyl and the cocaine that Sienna Bacall has been supplying him. And let's talk about Sienna for a second. The fact that she is secretly working for Matt Clark and actively trying to destroy Nick from the inside out is just terrifying. Nick started taking these pills just to cope with the physical and emotional pain of everything happening, but now it has completely consumed him. Matt Clark's whole Vegas trap, where Nick was forced to watch his family get threatened, the kidnapped family members The constant fear, it just completely broke him. Adam Newman tried so hard to save him. Sharon was practically begging him to hold on, but the addiction is just too strong. But what does the Newman family do? They just ignore the root of the problem. They expect him to just pull himself up by his bootstraps, put on a suit, and do everything on his own like a good little Newman soldier. They think they can just order him to be sober, the same way Victor orders his employees around. And then the spoilers say he is going to literally pass out right in front of them while he is on the phone. Just completely collapse. Imagine that scene. He is standing there in the Newman offices, probably sweating profusely, shaking, trying to hold a business conversation about some merger or acquisition, and his body just gives out because of the drugs. He hits the floor, and the illusion of the perfect Newman son shatters right there on the expensive carpet. And Victor, don't even get me started on Victor Newman today. I am so angry at this character right now, I could scream. Victor is going to be completely horrified when Nick collapses, but not because his son is dying. Oh, no. Victor is going to be horrified because Nick passing out might slow down his grand master plan to bring Newman Enterprises back to the top. Victor is so obsessed with his corporate empire that he cannot even see the human tragedy happening in his own living room. It is just so gross. And honestly, it all goes back to Victor's own deep-seated psychological issues. We all know Victor grew up in an orphanage. He had to fight for everything he has, and because of that, he views any kind of vulnerability as a fatal weakness. He doesn't see Nick's addiction as a disease that needs medical treatment and compassion. He sees it as a personal failure. He sees it as Nick being weak. This moment, Nick collapsing on the phone, this should be the massive wake-up call that they all need. It should be the moment where Victoria, Nikki, and Victor finally realize that family has to come first, that they need to drop the business drama, call an ambulance, and get him into a world-class facility. But Victor is just so shallow and selfish. He is so obsessed with his company and his legacy, except for maybe a split second of shock when Nick hits the floor. We never see him put anyone above his own ambitions. It is always about Newman Enterprises. It is always about winning the corporate war against whatever rival is popping up this week. Not his actual living, breathing son who is fighting for his life and losing the battle to addiction right in front of him. And it really makes you zoom out and look at the bigger pattern with this show. It's charming. The Newmans are always talking about protecting the family. Family first. We protect our own. Victor always says that. But when one of their own is actually drowning, when Nick is literally suffocating under the weight of his drug use, they just look the other way because dealing with it is inconvenient for business. Victoria is cornering him and judging him. Victor is giving him bitter lessons instead of medical help, and Nick is just terrified and isolated. It is a total mess, a complete and utter mess that the writers have created, and honestly, it breaks my heart for Nick. So I just don't know, guys. I am exhausted just thinking about all this drama. Between Diane potentially going rogue again after vanishing, Nikki fighting off headaches and the urge to drink, and Nick literally collapsing while his father worries about stock prices, Genoa City is just a very dark place this week. Do you think we are going to see the old Diane return and seek revenge? Do you think Nick is going to survive this family neglect, or is he going to end up with permanent damage? Let me know in the comments below, because I really need to know. I am not the only one screaming at my screen right now. I will be reading all your thoughts. So sound off.